Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine on this Tuesday morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Of course, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video. I know a lot of you have subscribed already, but if you're new, please be as kind to click that little subscribe button. That'd be absolutely fantastic. You great people. Thank you so much. You absolute legends. Now, lots of news going out around Man United, not in particular the striker situation and the goalkeeper situation. There's going to be a lot of news circulating around Man United this next few days, of course, as the window edges closer to the end. It does go very quickly, of course, guys. It does go very fast. And to be honest with you, you can't rest on your laurels. Let me just get my screen short of that. There we go. I'm all good. You can't rest on your laurels. Now, news circulating about Sesko is that Benjamin Sesko is 50-50 a chance to sign for Manchester United. And he's given a huge hint in regards to where he's going to go. One of the hints he spoke yesterday in regards to Manchester United and been very impressed with the way Manchester United have fought tooth and nail to get the player. He's very impressed how the efforts that Man United have gone to try and get the player. Of course, we've spoken about a few weeks in regards to Benjamin Sesko, Benjamin Sesko coming to Manchester United, of course, and various other outlets have as well. It looks pretty obvious that Man United are interested in Sesko, and it looks like he is Manchester United's number one target, whether we agree with that or not. But Benjamin Sesko has said that he is very impressed with what Manchester United have done so far, the efforts that Man United have gone to try and sign him. Now, look, that could mean a lot of things, of course. Newcastle can still change the scenario. It is deemed still 50-50 in regards to Manchester United and Newcastle United. There is a straight, hit out between Man United and Newcastle United. And which team will he choose? Who's he going to go to? Personally, I think the Sesko to Newcastle thing, that depends on Isaac. I'm not sure whether Newcastle are going to sign Sesko and have Isaac as well. It does look like Isaac could be leaving Newcastle United. Nothing solid at the moment. His most likely destination is Liverpool. But if he does go to Liverpool, then Man United are going to have to face a real battle with Newcastle for Sesko's signature. Now, as we said many times, we want players to play for Manchester United. We want them to want to play for Manchester United. We don't want them just to, sign for us for the sake of signing for us for money or for, it's no other choice. We want them to sign for Man United. We want them to want to sign for Man United and want to love Man United and to stuff like that. We want all that sweet stuff, don't we, at the end of the day? But obviously, we have to look at the realistic side of things. Manchester United are where they are. We came 15th last season. We're not very attractive. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If someone from the outside was not a Man United fan, of course, Man United are always attracted to us because we're Man United fans. But for someone who's not a Man United fan, who didn't grow up being a Man United fan, are Man United attractive when you look at it from the outside? There's two things you can possibly do. Someone like Sesko can go into Man United and say, right, I want to bring Man United back to the promised land. I want to bring them back to the top. A bit like Mbeumo and Cunha have done. Or they'd be like, I want to go in the Champions League. I want to play in the Champions League. I don't care who it's for. I want to play in the Champions League. Now, Newcastle United are a small club compared to Manchester United. Newcastle United are a big club locally, basically in the northeast of England. That's what they are. You can walk for miles and you wouldn't see a Newcastle United jersey. And that is a fact, guys. Even when I was living in England, it's very rare that, and I was born and raised in England, I would rarely see a Newcastle United jersey. They are a local big club. Basically, in Tyneside, they are a big club, but anywhere else in the world, they are not a big club. So compared to Man United, they are absolutely minuscule compared to Man United. And that's no disrespect to Newcastle United, because they have a great fan base anyway in Newcastle, of course, guys. Well, Their fan base might grow, of course, as they got the Saudi owners and stuff like that. Money might be invested in them and et cetera, et cetera. But you know what I would say is that compared to Manchester United, they were a small club. But on the pitch, they are better at the moment. We have to admit that. They are better than us at the moment on the pitch. And, you know, it's whether Sesko wants to go for that in regards to the project that is more down the road than Man United, whose project is basically just starting, really, isn't it, at the end of the day? But what I would say is that there's more prestige in playing for Manchester United rather than making up the numbers in the Champions League, which Sesko will be doing with Newcastle if he goes to Newcastle, because they are just making up the numbers in the Champions League. Just like Tottenham, just like Newcastle, they are making up the numbers in the Champions League. And you know what? They're not going to win the Champions League. I always believe that, you know what? There's no point going into the Champions League if you're not going to have aspirations to win it. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're FC Basel and stuff like that, who just go for the money. But I'm not saying that, no, these teams are not going for the money. I think they're more interested in the money than winning the competition. I could say that. But Sesko, 50-50 chance of signing for Manchester United. Where would he go, guys? Where would he go? Who knows, guys? But you know what? It was never going to be my first choice. Sesko was not my first choice. But as I said yesterday, if someone said to me at the beginning of the window, in the attacking sense, Man United will have Cunha, Mbeumo, and Sesko up front at the start of next season, I don't think I would turn my nose up too badly. I don't think I would be like, oh my God, no, we didn't do that, did we? I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll be relatively content with that. I would. I think that's pretty good. That's not bad going there. I would be like that, to be honest with you. But you know what? We'd have to wait on Sesko. We have to wait and see what happens with that. Depends on Ineos. It depends on Wilcox for Barada. I don't think they're helping themselves by being an American tour. I don't think that really helps the cause really much. They should be out there working hard and stuff like that. I don't want to sound like an absolute prat, but you know what? That's what they should be doing, to be honest with you. They should be working hard on these deals, and they should be trying to get these deals over the line. Absolutely, guys. But Sesko, look, he does look our most likely striker option. He does look like our most likely signing in regards to the striker capacity. The biggest issue is if that we drag this down the road, and we don't want to get into a transfer battle either. We don't want to get into a transfer battle with Newcastle, because as Newcastle bid, we're going to bid, they're going to bid. It's going to be an auction, and we don't want an auction, to be honest with you. We don't want the price going astronomical. So my biggest advice to Ineos right now, with Barada, Wilcox, and all these guys, my biggest advice to them would be concentrate on Sesko, great, but always have a contingency plan. Have another guy ready to go if we can't get Sesko. Have another guy ready to go, whether that is Mateta, whether that's Gonzalo Ramos, whoever it is, have another guy, because at the end of the day, if Man United go into next season without a striker, we are going to struggle. We are going to struggle because we can't score goals. Look, I'm not saying that, you know, Mbeumo and Cunha wouldn't make a huge difference, because it is going to make a huge difference. And we're going to have to rely on Rasmus Højlund, of course. And I hope he comes good. I really do hope he does do something next season. But you know what? We can't rely on that. We've seen it before. We've seen this story before. We've seen this movie before at the end of the day, what I would say about that. But guys, Sesko, 50-50 chance of signing for Man United. If that goes through, great. We can move on to the midfield, the goalkeeper, and that would be absolutely fantastic, of course, guys. Big up everyone in the stream. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Stretford Post. Hope everyone is doing blessed, my friends, of course. Big up Derez. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Literally, we need both. Third one, Carlos Baleba, who finished 15th place. Even I Dream Man, United finished 15th. Derez, big up my friend. Absolutely, Man United do need a midfielder. They need a goalkeeper as well. It would be lovely if Man United signed a Baleba. Of course, Baleba is on Manchester United's radar, but whether Man United make a move for Baleba is another story. Baleba's an absolute beast. He reminds me of a young Yaya Toure, an absolutely brilliant player. But will Man United make that move? As much as it's advised for them to do that, they're just too slow in this transfer market, and I can't see them, you know, making a move for a midfielder. Unfortunately, I don't. Now, obviously, there was news coming out yesterday that Toby Collier could go on loan, which could quite possibly free up space for a midfielder. Now, my biggest concern is this, right? Even if Collier goes on loan and a new midfielder comes in, we know that Bruno Fernandes will be the number 8 player next season. He will be the player playing in number 8. So we will have, fighting for one position, we will have Mainu, Ugarte, and Casemiro, and whoever comes in as the new midfielder. So that's 4 players fighting for one position. So who's going to be left out? Are they going to be happy to be sitting on the bench? Now, we know about Ineos. We know Ineos are money people, don't we? We know that they treat these players as assets and not football players. We know they don't want 4 players on astronomical wages sitting on the bench. So what does that mean? It means basically they're going to have to get rid of one. Which player are they going to get rid of? Obviously, there's rumours about Kobe Mainoo going to Tottenham and teams like that. You know, is Casemiro going to stay at Man United? It looks like he is. You know, and then you've got Ugarte, who's a new player at Man United relatively, and last season didn't have a preseason. And you know what? It's his big season this season. So what's going to happen with that? If Man United go out and buy a Baleba, we know that Bruno Fernandes, whether it's right or wrong, Bruno Fernandes is going to play in that number 8 position. So that is one position to fight for in the midfield. So you're going to have 4 players fighting for one position in the midfield. That's not even counting Kone and players like that who are at the club and have impressed in pre-season and stuff. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But it is very interesting to see what Man United do. Unless Man United are going to say, right, Bruno is not guaranteed the number 8 position, you know, I don't think it makes viable sense, you know, to be honest with you, at this moment in time, of course, guys. But we'll have to wait and see what happens and that, and watch this space. Toby Collier might go on loan, of course, and which will free up space in the Man United squad, of course, guys. Big up, Randy. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. More than forget Sesko plays Xerxes up front. Wharton, we really need a better midfield. We need a better midfield, Randy, but at the end of the day, we also need goals. The biggest problem at Man United was not midfield. It wasn't, believe it or not. Statistically, it will tell you that. The biggest problem for Man United, it was the strike force. We were minus goal difference last season. We were minus. Xerxes is not a prolific goal scorer. Xerxes has never been a prolific goal scorer. He's not one who could put the ball in the back of the net, basically. He's a number 10, basically plays that position. But obviously, Man United's midfield is a problem. It is a problem. But let's not underestimate the power of a great striker, especially a striker who's going to be playing in front of Mbeumo and Cunha. The striker position is very important, Randall. It is very important. And I would say we do not sacrifice any position for the sake of a striker, for the sake of a midfielder, for a right wing back, for a goalkeeper. I don't think we should do that. Absolutely, Randall. We need both. Of course, we need both. But I do believe that if Man United have the players there to play a decent midfield, I think Ugarte and Mainoo would do very well in midfield. The problem is this. The problem is not the midfield, the players, the lack of players that we have. The problem is the partnerships that we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing Bruno there. Whether we sign Baleba, whether we sign Wharton, Bruno will be there. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, playing with them. So he's going to, you know what? Bruno is a little bit ill-disciplined in the number 8 position. So he's going to be going all over the place. And even a player like Wharton won't be able to cope with that sort of, mess at the end of the day. I mean, advisably, I think Man United should go after a striker, a midfielder, a goalkeeper, a right wing back, 4 more players that they need, which I doubt that is going to happen, of course. But, you know, there we go. Melissa, Sesko, in my opinion, will be coming to us and he will be an excellent signing. Big up, Melissa. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Look, at the end of the day, as I said at the beginning of the show, I said that, you know what, at the end of the season, if someone came to me with a team sheet and I saw Man United's front 3 of Mbeumo, Cunha and Sesko, I would be absolutely not delighted, like, wow. I would be like, whoa, that's pretty impressive. I'd be like, that's good. That's not bad. That's not bad. That is quite good. I will be content with that. Absolutely. Because you know what? Mbeumo and Cunha are great signings. I know that, you know that. And Sesko would be a decent signing. Now, Sesko's been on Man United's radar for the last 2 years. Man United have been interested in Sesko. Sesko knows that Man United have been interested in him for a couple of years, of course, guys. So at the end of the day, Sesko, Manchester United. It is, look, Manchester United, Newcastle United. We are Manchester United. And, you know, apart from the new school sort of money-grabbing players that are out there who don't understand what Manchester United's legacy is, I think Sesko would choose Man United, absolutely, Cornish, because Man United are that team. Do you know what I mean? They are that team. For example, people tell me, oh, but Man United, why would anyone sign for Man United? Man United came 15th. Why would anyone sign for Man United? Why would they do that? Why would they ruin their career? Why would they? You know, they're rubbish, this, that. They're not in the Champions League. But there are actually some players who see Man United, who know Man United's legacy, who know Man United's history, and want to bring Man United back to where they are. Because they know if they go to Man United and they absolutely smash it, they are going to be on legendary status more than any other club in the world. We appreciate our players. We appreciate our legends. So if you come to Man United and you bring Man United back to where we belong, you are going to be appreciated. You're going to be deemed a legend. Do you know what I mean? Any one of those players who bring Man United back up that league and win us a title, for example, or win us a Champions League, you know, they are going to be deemed legends, guys. Absolutely. Big up, Melissa. Hey, Eugenio, buongiorno, Mr. Salino. Buongiorno, LJ, how you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. My coffee is brewed. I'm ready for an early show. What a hint has Sesko, Joe? Also, imagine a world where we signed Donnarumma and Lemens and the pigs can fly. But seriously, look, at the end of the day, look, thank you so much, Held. Yeah, the hint, as I've just mentioned in the show, is that Sesko has said he is very impressed at the efforts Man United have gone to try and sign him. He's happy about that. He's happy about Man United's efforts in signing him, and he is very impressed with the way they've done things. And that is a first, to be honest with you, with Manchester United. We generally let players down, don't we, when we approach them, to be honest with you, guys. But yeah, that is refreshing to hear that he's very happy with the way Man United have done things and how the efforts that Man United have gone to for now to try and get Sesko, of course, guys. Now, Man United with Donnarumma. Now, Donnarumma, of course, reports in France is that PSG are just about to sign Lucas Chevalier. Lucas Chevalier, the Lille stopper, of course, is a very good goalkeeper and is a first-team goalkeeper. So what does that mean? Is there a future for Gianluigi Donnarumma? Now, is it just a rumor, Donnarumma, or is it the facts? Now, it does seem like Donnarumma is not guaranteed to be a starter for PSG next season. Maybe they want to move him on. Maybe it's the wages. I don't know. But Paris Saint-Germain are nearing an agreement to sign Lucas Chevalier, casting doubts over Gianluigi Donnarumma's future. While the Italian goalkeeper has multiple suitors, including Manchester United and Galatasaray, he is not rushing to leave and will only depart for the right project. A battle for the number one spot could still unfold at the Parc de France. So what does that mean? It means there is a possibility, I think it's unlikely, that Donnarumma would fight for his first team place, because he's earned his first team place, by the way. He's a world-class goalkeeper, and I don't think he will sit on the bench, not even once. That's what I feel like. So I do believe that it looks very likely that Donnarumma could be leaving PSG, but it doesn't mean that he won't sign for Manchester United. Just because Manchester United are in the Champions League, like I said earlier, we're still Manchester United. We're bigger than PSG. It doesn't matter what PSG achieved last season. We are bigger than PSG. So we got to look at that, you know, and we got to appreciate ourselves of who we are. Now, look, Donnarumma also depends on Onana. Now, this is a similar situation with Chevalier. So there's Chevalier who was signed for PSG, who's coming in as a first-team goalkeeper. He's a very good goalkeeper at Lille. So if Onana does not leave Manchester United, you know, there is no way that Gianluigi Donnarumma is going to sign for Manchester United. So we have two number ones vying for the first team spot. Onana's going to want to sit, not going to want to sit on the bench, and obviously Donnarumma is not going to want to sit on the bench. So what does that mean? As I've said over the weeks and months, Sané Lemens is a player that Man United are interested in. I've been saying it for months, and he is the type of goalkeeper that Man United could sign because of his age, and he could slowly drift out Onana out of the team. But if Onana leaves Manchester United, if he manages to leave Man United, that leaves the door open for Donnarumma. It does. And Man United could quite possibly make a move for Donnarumma, and Donnarumma could be enticed by the project, right? Because this is what he said. He's not rushing to leave. We'll only depart for the right project. Now, that is what it is at the moment. It is a project. Will he want to come to Man United? Will he want to make a name for himself? You know what I mean? It would be a perfect signing for Manchester United. I said it years ago, we should have signed him. Would he want to do that? And, you know, it's not in the realms of impossibility. I know that a lot of people want to shut the door in our faces and say, no, Man United are never going to sign him. I heard the same about Abumo a month ago, 2 months ago. I heard the same people saying the same thing. I heard people say the same thing about Euro last year. I heard a lot of things people say the same thing, but we're still Manchester United at the end of the day. And you know what? You might sacrifice one season of your career in the Premier, but you know what? You can create history at this football club. And I do believe that we are sleeping giant and we will be back. And whoever is in that team, when we are back, they will be deemed legends, of course, because of where we've been this last 13 years, of course, guys. But Gianluigi Donnarumma basically will not play second fiddle to Chevalier. He will not play second fiddle. And that's what I believe. There is obviously a possibility that there could be a battle for the number one spot at PSG. But how realistic is that? You're going to have two world-class goalkeepers. You know what I mean? I don't think that's going to happen. And it does look like if PSG do sign Lucas Chevalier, that does look like that Gianluca Donnarumma is going to leave, because there's no way that PSG will spend the money on Chevalier when they got a player like Donnarumma already. It just doesn't quite make sense in my humblest of opinions, guys. Absolutely, of course, guys. Absolutely. Big up, Helgenio, my friend. Good morning, brother. Please, everyone, smash the like button and subscribe buttons. We're just past 12,000 subscribers. Thank you, guys, for the 12,000 subscribers, guys. By Christmas, we want to get to 20,000. By Christmas, that's the aim. We want to get to 20,000 subscribers. Let's do this, guys. Absolutely. Like I discussed, Bruno will always start as number 8 with the starting point. Who do you prefer next to him? By preference depends on the opponent, mainly weaker teams. Ugarte. Personally, I don't know, Helge. Can I be honest with you? I just don't think he's a number 8, and I would never think that. I don't think anyone works with him. I'll be honest with you. I don't think anyone works with him. It's a bit like putting Gary Pallister in the middle of the midfield. No one's going to work with him. It won't work. The only player that I could foresee actually helping Bruno, because that's what it's going to be, a player that's going to help Bruno. It's not going to be Bruno helping the player. It's going to be the player helping the Bruno. What I can foresee is Man United signing Wharton, who can keep that, that energy and keep it tight. We're going to have to be careful here, because Man United already have Mbeumo and Cunha. Personally, can I be honest, Helge? I'll be honest. I think Man United need to change it up a little bit. I do. I think Man United should play a 4 at the back and play a 4-2-3-1. That's what I think, Helge. And I think that they should play 2 holding midfielders in there, and they should play the 3 attacking midfielder, Bruno and Mbeumo and Cunha, and play 1 up front. That's what I personally feel. Whether it's not going to happen, is it? But I know. And that does defeat the point of bringing in Ruben Amorim into the new tactics. But if I was to put gun against head right now, who's going to play with Bruno? I would say Ugarte, Helge. I'll say Ugarte is that guy. I think Ugarte is going to have a great season next season. But again, it's exactly what I've been discussing. What's going to happen to Casemiro? What's going to happen to Mainu? And if Man United did miraculously sign a new goalkeeper, a new midfielder, what's going to happen with him? Because then you're going to have loads of players vying for one spot. Of course, it's great to have a big squad, but you can have 2-3 men for each position, not 4 or 5 players for each position, if you know what I mean. But for me, Helge, it will be Ugarte right now. Gun against head, it will be Ugarte for me, absolutely. Big up, Pel. Good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. And big up, Timo, the legend. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see Timo in the house. And Hesty, good morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm not really sold on Sesko, but I'm afraid if he goes to Newcastle, we're going to panic. What will happen, Hesty, if Man United sign nobody? If Man United sign nobody and Sesko goes to Newcastle and he scores goals and he starts banging in the goals. We've been there before, haven't we, at the end of the day, in the past, of course, where we refused to sign players and they've gone on to score loads of goals. We almost signed Alan Shearer, didn't we, twice, of course, before we went to Blackburn and before we went to Newcastle United. We were very close to signing Alan Shearer. Well, I'm glad how it worked out, because obviously we got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, guys. So I'm happy with that at the end of the day. But yeah, we can't be in a position now to be choosy. At the moment, Man United are not in that sort of circle now. We need to get a player. If we get a player like Sesko, I think we should be extremely happy, because at the end of the day, you're looking at the market, the striker market. You're looking at the players out there. There's not really many players out there, is there, in regards to strikers? The striker market has really regressed. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's really fallen flat, the striker market, at the end of the day. And like compared to when I was growing up, when you ain't got Sesko, look, you can count on one hand how many strikers there are available right now. The only other striker you can get is Mateta, and Man United are not really going in for Mateta, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, because I do rate Mateta very, very highly, higher than Sesko, of course, right? But obviously, Mateta's 28, and Sesko can become that player. He is only 22. So, look, at the end of the day, what I would say is that, yeah, look, it was never going to be my first choice. But you know what? If Man United get Sesko through the door, I'll be happy. I'll be content, because we've got Mbeumo, we got Cunha, and we got Sesko, and that's a start, isn't it? And then obviously, if we get a new goalkeeper in there, it's going to start looking a little bit more confident for Manchester United and us. Of course, we had a lot of anxiety and indecisiveness last season. It was very nervous last season in regards to the goalkeeper position, in regards to goal scoring. Every time a team would score against us, you might as well pack up and go home, because we wouldn't score for days. Would we? Absolutely. Big up, SD. Prince, good morning. How you doing? Good morning. How are you doing? Well, good to see you again. And big up Coco, the legend. What's going on? Mateta, Watkins, Sesko, Jackson, Calvert-Lewin. Oh, in that order, Coco, is it that order? Is it Mateta, Watkins, or Mateta, Watkins, Sesko, or Jackson, Calvert-Lewin? Half Cut that in half. That's all right. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Mateta is the best player on that in that lineup. Absolutely. Dan, good morning. How you doing, my friend? But we are slow on the deals. This is the biggest problem, Dan, isn't it? Dan. This is the biggest problem, isn't it, at the moment? Is that Man United are extremely slow on these deals. They're very lethargic at the moment on these deals, and it's disappointing because we needed this window to be an absolute avalanche of transfers. We needed to go right in there. It was not about walking to the right destination. It was running to the right destination. That's what Man United do. In theory, what Man United needed to do this summer is throw everything against the wall and hoping something sticks. And that's what they needed to do. And this is a bit like what Chelsea do, the mentality that Chelsea do, isn't it? You know, Man United have been extremely slow. They took 50 days to do the deal for Mbeumo, which is very slow. Obviously, I'm not going to paint every transfer with the same brush. I do know that some transfers might be quicker than others. It does look likely and pretty obvious that Sesko is going to leave RB Leipzig. And I feel that RB Leipzig are already accepting at the fact that Sesko will leave RB Leipzig. And he's been there for a couple of years. So why not? And he wants a new challenge. Hopefully that deal will take 1 week, 2 weeks. Hopefully, because look, guys, we have to remember that we're playing Arsenal in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, we will be starting the season against Arsenal. Will we get in a striker before the Arsenal game? My opinion is maybe, but he won't be match fit and he won't be playing in the Arsenal game. And that is the biggest disappointment for me because at the first game, which is probably, look, guys, already this is a very important game. I know it's the first game of the season, but already this is a very important game. This could shape the season. This is a shape. We remember when we played Arsenal, was it a couple of years ago? Was it a year ago? When we played Arsenal at the Emirates, I think it was the second or third game. And obviously Garnacho had that goal which was scraped off. It was disallowed. And I believe it was onside. And it would have made it 2-1 to Manchester United. And you know what? We would have been off to a flyer, right? And we ended up losing the game 3-1 because of the referee, right? That sort of shaped our season sort of thing. And it sort of knocked the stuffing out of us a little bit. I don't want us to be starting the season against Arsenal at the beginning of the season and having the stuffing knocked out of us. You know what I mean? I don't want that to happen. So I want Man United to be ready. I wanted Man United to be ready. I wanted them to have their first team available. I'm delighted we've got Mbeumo and Cunha. But the biggest concern for me is that we still got the goalkeeper. We still got the right left. We still got Dalot. We still got, you know what, these players in the midfield. And there's still those players who've been flattering to see for many years. And this is the biggest issue that I have at the moment with that. And the feeling that I have is it's like a cross between positivity and extreme negativity at the moment, because every time I think about something positive, something overrides that and hits me with a bit of negative and a bit of reality. And that's what I'm feeling at the moment. If Man United sign a striker, I'm going to be like, yeah, I can see that. Like two midfielders and a striker, 2 attacking midfielders and a striker. Great, that's good news. You know what I mean? We're going to be ready for the first game against Arsenal. You know, my biggest concern, obviously, there is a big concern about the midfield. There's obviously a huge concern about the midfield. Guys, if you look at, let me tell you something. If you played football and you learn about football, there's certain players that play in midfield. Now, I would say that, you know, with a midfield player, i.e. a number 8, for example, are not square-footed. You know, when your feet are like that. Bruno's feet are like that, okay? Right, that's okay to have as a number 10. His feet are like that. Let me explain. So his feet are like that. He passes sidely. He doesn't really have the edge. You know, like Paul Scholes, 360 with his feet. They're straight like this. And then he'll be like, get the ball, spin, turn in a sixpence. Do you know what I mean? Already know the third pass ahead. You know, that is what a number 8 is. You can't purchase that. You can't buy that. And for me, this is going to be a huge mistake for Ruben Amorim with this midfield. And I believe that this will be our downfall, and we will see it next season. We will see it next season. And we'll be saying, I knew that Bruno couldn't play number 8. I knew he shouldn't be playing there. He gave the ball away, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to be saying that. Bruno's a fantastic player as number 10, you know. And you know what? We should pressure Ruben Amorim in regards to this. We should pressure Ruben Amorim. We should say to Ruben Amorim, we shouldn't be playing Bruno as a number 8 because he's out of position. We rejected 100 million to play a player out of position. Big up, my friend. How you doing, Wagled? How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Of course. I pray he chooses wisely. Big up, Prince. Hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Me too, mate. Absolutely. Good morning, Asif. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. What are your top? I was so excited for that transfer, but it didn't go as expected for Man United. I think Gagawad to pay. Demi Mkhitaryan and Giuseppe Wesley was so gassed on them. I mean, in my life, I mean, when we signed Juan Sebastian Veron, was absolutely fantastic, was hugely exciting. I was really excited about that transfer. And it didn't go as according to plan. Obviously, it didn't go according to plan because Juan Sebastian Veron had Paul Scholes and Roy Keane in front of him. So, you know what? Juan Sebastian Veron was a world-class player and would walk into this Man United player, by the way. Guys, so what I would say is this, right, is that, Veron was one I got really excited about. Di Maria, very excited about Di Maria when he was going to sign for Man United, and it didn't work out quite, did it? At the end of the day, Mkhitaryan, I wasn't a big fan of Mkhitaryan, to be honest. I wasn't. I knew about Mkhitaryan for the past. The pay, I was like, yeah. But definitely Di Maria, I was very excited about. Absolutely. Falcao, I was very excited about Falcao. Looking at Falcao, watching Falcao, because I remember watching, I think it was a Super Cup or something like that. I'm watching Atletico Madrid against Chelsea, I think it was. And I was watching Falcao absolutely smash it. And I thought Falcao was going to be a fantastic striker for Man United and banging the goals. Obviously, injury played its part on his regression. But yeah, Falcao was one. Di Maria, obviously, what happened with him was bad, of course, guys. Sancho, another one, who I thought would be an absolute baller for Man United. People who know me knew before he signed for Manchester United, I was a big advocate for Jadon Sancho because I thought he was a brilliant player. And he's let me down. He's extremely let me down, of course. Coco, my friend, Sesko is an option E at this point. More risk of him flopping than Rasmus or Xerxes succeeding. Skip on a striker sell before try and buy. That's got to be the plan. I don't think so, Coco, because I think we need goals. And I think that painting Sesko as a Rasmus or Xerxes is not the right thing to do because at the end of the day, you can't paint everyone with the same brush. Sesko can put the ball in the back of the net. He scored some wonderful goals for RB Leipzig. Xerxes and Rasmus can't score. They're not good goal scorers at all. At all. Now, I would much rather have a Sesko up front in front of Cunha and Mbeumo than having Xerxes and Rasmus. Xerxes will drift back. He's a number 10. Again, I cannot stress that much. He's not a striker. It's a completely different thing. And Rasmus can't hit a barge pole. He's just not that guy, in my opinion. We need a striker. Absolutely. We can't skip on anyone. I had big hopes for all of them when they signed. I hate that Kagawa always played out of position. Barely played one game in the 10. Was the position played by Dortmund, some with Mickey. Look, at the end of the day, I just feel like they were a little bit overrated. I would be honest with you, Held. I think Kagawa was a good player. And as you said, that he didn't get enough opportunity. But why should he in that great Man United side, of course? You look at that and you think about why he didn't. He was a good player, but it shows you the levels that Man United were at the time. Mkhitaryan, I think he was a player capable of great moments, i.e. that little flick he did. Remember that the Rabona that he did for Man United. But what I would say is that Mkhitaryan, I never quite rated myself. I thought he was a German, it was a Bundesliga player, and that was about it. And I was right. I was proven right. I said it at the time. I said, Mkhitaryan, I don't think he's going to be that player that fits Man United. Kagawa, however, I think it's a completely different story. I think Kagawa had the talent, but I just don't think Kagawa had the opportunities that, other players had, and that is true. But obviously Man United had, as I said, had such a great team at that time that, where's Kagawa going to play? But it shows you, Helge, where Man United are now as opposed to where they were then. That we can leave out the likes of Kagawa, Juan Sebastian Veron, Mkhitaryan, and these players, because we had talent. We have regressed. Big up, Harold. Your fun fact today. What is it? I remember when I was read it again. Milinkovic-Savic, the goalkeeper signed from United 2016 when he was 17, never played for us, but he could not get a work permit. Yeah, mentioned on the show many times, Harold. You're repeating the Stretford Post. Absolutely. Big up, Harold. Thanks to Newcastle again in pushes are harder for Sesko. If United want Sesko, they will have to go hard. The only thing is, Asif, I feel like Man United, when other teams battle for a player, the price is obviously naturally going to go higher, isn't it? And I think that Man United do have a ceiling. I think once the transfer starts going 1, 2, 3 million over the budget, Man United are going to say, whoa, we don't want any of this. Whoa, we don't want any of this. And I think that they could walk away. I do feel, however, if Sesko openly says, I want to go to Manchester United, I think he will go to Manchester United because the player always wins at the end of the day, in my opinion. Absolutely. Big up, Asif. Good to see you, mate. Absolutely. Sal, your view on Rasmus versus Sesko in close space in front of goal post, who will finish and were the same? They're not the same. Absolutely. Sesko's proven to score some very great goals in his career, which I feel like Rasmus has not. Rasmus lashes at shots, like he'll get the ball and he'll lash it. He wouldn't place it. He just hits it hard. In regards to Sesko's more calculated and more articulate with the way he strikes the ball. Now, look, it's very difficult to make a judgment accurately. And I'm not going to paint him with the same brush because he's playing for RB Leipzig. There's a whole load of scenarios that go around playing for RB Leipzig as opposed to playing in front of Mbeumo and Cunha at Man United. It could be completely different. And also, he's 22 years old. He has scored goals throughout his career. 1 in 2, by the way, nearly 1 in 2 in his career. So at 22, that's not that bad, is it? 1 in 2. I would urge you to look at Rasmus' goal scoring record over his career. If you look at Rasmus' goal scoring record, look at him in Serie A. What did he score? 10 goals for Atalanta, wasn't it? You know, that's not prolific. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, in the amount of games he scored. When you compare him with Sesko, it's completely night and day. Sesko has scored goals and he has been 1 in 2. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what I would say, even at Salzburg, he was doing the same thing, scoring goals. So you could see potential in basically Sesko. With Rasmus, he's unproven as a goal scorer. And that's what I say. Sesko has proven to put the ball in the back of the net 1 in 2, which is okay. Just under 1 in 2. But Rasmus is not proven to put the ball in the back of the net consistently. Absolutely. Helge, that's actually very crazy to think about it. I think Van Gaal was the one who signed him from Vojvodina in Serbia. He never got a work permit, joined the dance and sold him to Torino. And now he's I think he's gone to Napoli now, isn't he, Helge? I mean, great goalkeeper. Another one that we have been talking about over the last few months, of course. Man United missed out on that. Isn't it funny that every player that signs for Man United that we rate and we think, yeah, they always seem to slip through our fingers? Especially goalkeepers. You remember Kovar as well, slip through our fingers? I mean, there is quite a few stories about Man United doing things like that. Absolutely. You know, you remember we signed Tosic as well from Serbia. 1 more season is what Rasmus needs. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Sid Craft, hope you're well. Roy, good morning. I was watching Liverpool say, oh, why did you have to mention that, mate? Man United, just for analysis on what players need them to kick out the door. Found 2, Luke Shaw and Dalot. You're not wrong, Roy. You're not wrong at the end of the day. Unfortunately, Dalot will start for Man United next season. Dalot will be I won't say he will start, but he'll be a mainstay in that team. He will be consistently in that team. Absolutely. I don't rate Dalot. Sorry, Roy. Guys, I don't rate Dalot. I don't. And I like Dalot. I like Dalot as a person. He bashes his chest. He loves the club. Fantastic. But I've spoken to many people in Italy in regards to AC Milan, when he was on loan at AC Milan, and they criticized him. They said he's not good enough, positionally, naive, etc., etc. And I've seen that over the time of Dalot, over his career. The biggest point about Dalot, he is a fullback. He's not a wing back. So basically, he is a traditional fullback, back 4, fullback. He's not a winger that bombs up and down the pitch and gets crosses in. Unfortunately, he's not. He does it very, very rarely. Man United need, in that position, a Van der Sar, a Frimpong. We're not got Frimpong, obviously, but a Van der Sar we could possibly get. We missed out on Wesley. He's gone to Roma, which is another one that we could have possibly get. But Van der Sar, the kind of player that is Man United need. It does look likely that Ruben Amorim wants to play an attacking player on that right-hand side, and that is obviously going to be Ahmad. Whatever you think about that, I feel like Ahmad is a little bit defensively naive as well. I don't think he's athletic enough to be bombing up and down that pitch as a right wing back. Of course, but that I think is a better choice than what Dalot is. And if we look at last season and we look at the game against Brighton and Hove Albion, if you look at, I think it was the second game of the season and we lost the game 2-1. And you look at that game and you look at the positioning of Dalot in that game, and he's cost us a lot of points last season. And in the Champions League, look at the FC Porto game. Look at that game. Every single time that Porto would attack, they would attack Dalot's side. They knew that Dalot was the problem. Now, he's not the biggest problem at Man United. Of course, there's loads of problems at Man United. The goalkeeper is a bit of a problem as well, as we know. But you know what? I would say that as a fullback, I don't think Dalot is that guy. As a wing-back, should I say. I don't think Dalot is that guy. I think he's a decent squad player. I think he's okay to be on the bench and stuff to bring on as a squad player, right wing-back, left wing-back, stuff like that. But I don't think he's the sort of guy that we should be starting in our defence. And as Luke Shaw, we all know about Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is an absolute fraud, in my opinion. I think that guy is going to play this season. And the reason that guy is going to play this season is because the World Cup is coming in at the end of the season. We got the World Cup coming thick and fast, of course. So that's why I think Luke Shaw will play this season. Looking at Luke Shaw, ever since he came back from his injury, Luke Shaw has looked well off it. He's looked overweight. He's looked unfit. He doesn't look ready. He's not ready. And I feel like, he's on the way down. His body is finished. I think he's on the way down, to be honest. And I think we should try and sell Luke Shaw, but I don't think it can happen. It's unrealistic at the moment. The only thing we could do with Luke Shaw is loan him out somewhere, someone want him, but teams are not stupid. They know that Luke Shaw has a ridiculous injury record. My goodness me, he has an injury record, more injuries than casualty. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and this guy, you know what, he's left us in a bit of a predicament. I do blame, obviously, Murto Woodward, the old regime, in keeping giving him new contract after new contract. I mean, they were deceived because Luke Shaw used to play when there was an England tournament coming, when there's a World Cup or European Championship tournament coming. So Luke Shaw used to play, you know, consistently then, and he manipulated the ownership. And they used to always say, "Oh, Luke Shaw had a great season this season. Hand him a new contract." And that's something that hopefully we've ended. Luke Shaw has 200 grand a week. He's got another 1.5 years on his contract, something like that. Let's hope that, you know, something happens with him and materializes, because this is the culture that I was talking about at this football club. This is the culture that I've been mentioning for a long time. Players like that, you know, and Jose Mourinho, fair enough, said it many years ago. He said that there are some players that, you know what, get a little scratch and they're out for months. There's some players can play with a broken ankle. And that basically that's what it is at the end of the day. Kenny, good morning. If Bruno wants to only focus on United and ignores playing for Cameroon, he will be a legend for real. Big up, Kenny. Absolutely. Big up, my friend. Timo, yes. We signed him as a prospect, but now he want him as a prime Ronaldo. Big up, mate. Absolutely. One more season for him. Goodness me. Dear. Rasmus is never going to be a... I mean, mention him in the same breath as Ronaldo. I've heard it all. Luke Shaw is the biggest fraud we don't talk about. Man's biggest achievement is scoring a Euro final goal 5 years ago. And we lost the game, Roy. And yeah, to be honest with you. And look, you know, at the end of the day, look, Luke Shaw, when he was at his prime, was a fantastic left back. That's what he was. Right now, he's no longer a fantastic left back. And this is the thing about Man United. We keep holding on to players for dear life. Do you know what I mean? And we shouldn't be doing that. And this is why we needed a full Sal, you know, because if we had a full Sal and if Qatar came in, for example, they would have been able to pay off Luke Shaw's contract and just get rid of him. And these players would have been gone already. Mark, welcome to the family. Welcome to the Chatterbox family, my friend. Thank you so much for joining. You absolute legend. Thank you, you diamond. Big up Marky Mark, the new member of the channel. Oh, by the way, guys, I've got some great material coming for the memberships, of course. Fantastic material coming. Great. You're not going to want to miss it, guys. Trust me. It's going to be uploaded very, very soon, of course. Big up, Helge. I'm content about Sesko saga because it snubs Newcastle with Champions League football and choose us. I like that. Me too. If he chooses Newcastle ahead of us, amazing. Ahead of Newcastle ahead of our amazing club, it's not a player I want anyways. Helge, you're absolutely right. But you know what? You know, these days, you know, you're going to get players who, you know what, would look after their own careers. For example, Gyökeres. Gyökeres wouldn't want to sign for Man United because we're not in the Champions League. Gyökeres is 27 years old. And I understand that. Whereas in regards to Sesko, he's 22. So, you know what? There's a chance that he can create history at Man United. And I think he needs to think about that. If he chooses Man United, he's going to be... I mean, I love the guy because at the end of the day, he would have chosen Man United over Newcastle. The barcodes, he would have chosen us over them. They're in the Champions League. That would be embarrassing for Newcastle. Subject to popular belief of Newcastle fans, Mbeumo chose Man United over Newcastle. Newcastle were interested in Mbeumo, but Mbeumo only wanted Manchester United. Why? Because it's Manchester United. We are Manchester United, and that is what it's all about, my friends. Guys, Manchester United are a bigger club than Newcastle. And if Sesko comes to Man United, fair play. Fair play. And you know what? It would be fantastic. And as you said, Helge, look, he's not everyone's cup of tea. We don't always get what we want in life. We don't always get the striker we want, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But you know what? It is a player that can be molded into a good player. And I think that Ruben Amorim would do well with Sesko. I really do. Ruben Amorim did openly say that he wants a Premier League experienced player, but that is not always the case in regards to players being a success. It helps. It does help. But you know what? Player like Sesko can be developed, and you never know what will happen at the end of the day. Let's hope. Big up, Helge. Don't remind me of that, but Shaw and Luch have to go. Kenny, do you remember we were sitting here last year and we were talking about Diego Dalot, and there is actually a Diego Dalot fan club, you know, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Funny, isn't it? No one is a number one goalkeeper in the world. His performance in Champions League final, he is, and his performances in a lot of in the European Championship final as well. Luke Shaw literally was assisting the 6th goal of Salah. Yeah, he did. He's assisted a lot of goals against Man United, of course. Marky Mark, morning Sal and the community. Big up, Marky Mark. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Getting excited for some more signings and ready to hit the ground running. Come on, Marky Mark. Love the positivity. That's what we need at the end of the day. We do need a little bit of positivity in the house, of course. Can't be negative all the time. You have to smile while you still have teeth, of course, guys. And that's what it's all about, of course. Roy and Dalot, my goodness, Flying Pig called him a Diego Diabolical. Dalot for a reason. Big up Flying Pig, by the way, absolutely. Look, but you know what I would say is that, yeah, he's not good enough. It's as simple as that. I don't want to throw out any abuse or anything like that. I don't want to diss the player and stuff, but he's not a good player. And to be honest with you, it is highly underrated in how urgent it is for a right wing back. That's what Man United need. It's highly underrated. I don't think Ahmad plays well there. I don't. Evidence will suggest that. I don't think he plays well there. I think Ahmad is a winger, but he's not good going back. And in that position, you have to go back. You know, so what I would say is that, yeah, I would have loved a Vanderson at the football club, but it's not going to happen. Dalot, for me, is positionally naive. As the AC Milan fan I spoke to said to me many, many years ago, that he is positionally naive and he does give the opposition a chance on that side. Helge, imagine it's the end of May. The season has ended. Who has been our best players this season? I think, Mbumo, Delit, Dorgu, Konya, and Ugarte. I'm going to make my analogy at the start of, Helge, before the start of the season, I'm going to do a prediction. So I'm going to predict everything. And I'm going to do it just before the start of the season. There's going to be a prediction table for me. And I'm going to say who's going to win the league, Europa League, who's going to cross over the Champions League, who's going to win the Conference League, who's going to win the league. I'm going to do it. And, we're going to revisit it later this season, of course, guys. And I will get the community involved, of course. Absolutely. Donna's wages will be huge. He's now 210,000 a week. He'll likely range about 260, 300. Why not? Why not, Dabisas? Why not? We got rid of Rashford's huge 350,000 wage. Why not? We give it to Donnarumma, a player like that who deserves it. Absolutely. Big up, Dabisas. Mark, good morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Why not buy in their leave or any of the keepers to make room? It's still early days, Gemini. Bayinde could still leave the football club. Bayinde his agent has been talking to other clubs at the moment. There's a possibility he could go back to Turkey. I think Trabzonspor, if you know about Trabzonspor, they're interested in Bayinde. Of course, guys, and Besiktas are also interested in him at the moment. So there is a possibility he could go back to Turkey, but we have to play that by ear. If Man United do sign a goalkeeper, Bayinde will be gone because obviously we've got Heaton as well, you know what I mean? And Heat will be on, guys, if we got too many goalkeepers and we need to get rid of a couple, of course, guys, absolutely. Guys, and a little bit of other news. Vitek, who we highly rate, guys. I'm a big fan of Vitek, another one who won't be playing for Man United next season. He has gone on loan to Bristol City, guys, in England. So, yeah, he posted on his Twitter page, his new Twitter page, but don't forget to follow him. He's still a Man United player, but he will be going on loan to Bristol City next season. I would have liked him to play for Man United. I would have seen what he would have done. But you know what? Going to a team like Bristol City, I believe they're in the Championship, we'll hold him in good step, you know what I mean, and he could build up his strength and stuff like that. But I would have liked him to see given a chance in this preseason. I wanted to see Vitek given a chance in preseason. Unfortunately, there are rumours floating about that Vitek and Ruben Amorim don't see eye to eye. But they can't see eye to eye because he's never played for Man United, has he really? You know what I mean? But apparently, Ruben Amorim's not a fan. Roy Atletico, and Man United fans don't even criticise one bit Luke Shaw. He is a Varane, used to be his United stint. He was a Varane. Varane was decent at Man United, to be honest with you, but he came as an injury-prone player, to be honest with you. Was a very good player over his career, and I will never say a word wrong about Raphael Varane because he always tried to make himself fit, including the FA Cup final and stuff like that, which contributed heavily to us winning the FA Cup against Manchester City, as we remember. But the thing with Luke Shaw, the problem is with Luke Shaw, right? And I would say it like this, is that Luke Shaw has quite evidently I'm not going to say it here, but he's quite evidently favoured England over Man United. And that is the biggest problem that we have. Let's not remember Man United have been extremely loyal to Luke Shaw. And, we are the ones who pay his wages, his astronomical wages, of course. And he has favoured England on numerous amounts of times. Every time a tournament comes along, Luke Shaw is fit and ready. And that is the biggest thing. The deceiving, the manipulation. That's what I don't like at this football club. We get a lot of manipulation at this football club. We get a lot of lies from players and stuff like that who pretend. You know what I mean? And that is one thing that I never grew up seeing at Manchester United. It was all about the badge. And I don't think these players are playing for the badge. I really don't. I think these players, like Luke Shaw, they're just playing for wage to wage at the end of the day. and just trying to blag it, hiding during the transfer window, going missing. Phil Jones did it. I don't feel sorry for Phil Jones. I don't, because Phil Jones did it for bloody 10 years. He got a testimonial. That guy was qualified for a testimonial for playing about 6 games in 10 years. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look. At the end of the day, look. You can't pull the wool over our eyes in regards to these players. These players are not Manchester United players, and we have to be realistic about that. I come from a generation of, in regards to wing backs and defenders, of regards to Paul Parker and Dennis Irwin and Gary Neville. You know, I can't Patrice Evra. You know, I come from this generation. Do you know what I mean? And I know what a proper wing back, winger, right back, left back should be. Yeah, at the end of the day, and you know what? These guys are not it. Absolutely. 100% worth to pay him as one of the best players, in my opinion, as we speak of here. And we've lost 350 grand. Let's not forget, we've lost. Look, Anthony's going to be leaving the football club. Garnacho most likely leave the football club. Rashford will leave the football is at the football clubs at Barcelona. So look, we got the money. I would never look. If you're going to pay someone, Held, and exactly what you said, you pay a Donnarumma. You know what I mean? You pay a Donnarumma for that. He's a game changer. He is a game changer. Absolutely. Roy, my top 3 keepers are Donnarumma, Sommer, and maybe Raya Oblak. Yeah, Oblak's been around a long time, isn't it, Roy? Yeah, Sommer's a good goalkeeper. What a find. I mean, can you imagine that, Man United purchased Onana and they got Sommer? They got a better goalkeeper. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Donnarumma, best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. He's the only goalkeeper I look at right now, and I see a 90s goalkeeper, if you know what I mean. I see a Van der Sar, I see a Peter Schmeichel in Donnarumma. You just need to see the scar on his face. You know what I mean? That guy, he puts his body on the line to keep that ball out of the back of the net. Onana doesn't. Onana's chilled. Onana's a chilled goalkeeper. Onana is like he stands still like this, and he just, oh, well. And every time he concedes a goal, he won't say, sorry, guys, my bad, sorry, guys. He will start pulling up his socks and stuff, and he just won't say anything. He'll just like this. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that says, I want to see him get mad. I want to see him banging the floor, punching the post. You know what I mean? Hitting his head against the post. Something, do something. You know what I mean? Show me you care. And I just don't see that at the end of the day. Allison's dropped off quite a bit, hasn't he, Roy? But you know what? Won a league, can't say nothing. We have seen this for years. The abuse that even Pogba got, even he got his time niggle and ridiculous, Martial. Sure, an amazing PR team and British passport untouchable. I don't think it's British passport, Held. I wouldn't bring that into you're better than that, Held. It's not about British passport because Luke Shaw had death threats, Held. And so did Harry Maguire. So I think one of them had a bomb threat and one of them had a death threat. So I wouldn't say that. Absolutely not. And you go to every single country. If I go to Norway, Helge, they're going to favour Norwegian players. If I go to Spain, they're going to favour Spanish players, the media. It's the way it is. It's the way it grumbles. I've got Italian family, you know what I mean? And they do the same in Italy. They'll favour Italians over English any day of the week. And that is the way it is. It's the way life is. Thank you. By Christmas on top of the league, Sal 20K. Come on, ice on the cake. Thank you so much, Kenny. You absolute legend. Thank you. I hope so. God willing, it all goes well and we move on from that, of course, guys. Absolutely. And we move up, onwards and upwards. Real subscribers. No bloody bots like some of those other ones. Held, but what we need to do both them on and buying that out first. Absolutely. That's true. Kit, hopefully we will. Morning, Kit. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I don't think there is a player in the world who would fit Bruno, Wharton, Camavinga, and Baleba maybe, but the team would be the best with Bruno on the bench, sadly, Maynard and Ugarte in the middle. You know what I hope, Helge? You know, the one thing I hope more than anything is that Man United just win games next season. I don't care about the politics. I don't care who plays. As long as we're bloody winning games at the start of next season and we beat Arsenal in the first game of the season, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And we can celebrate, Helge, innit? Because we're in this together at the end of the day, you know, and we hope that, you know what, everything comes good for Manchester United, because ultimately I'm tired of, you know, being the banter team in the Premier League. You know, I think Arsenal's still the real banter team, but Man United, in regards to our position, are the banter team pound for pound, isn't it? From where we finished. So look, you know what I would say is that I just hope that whatever happens next season, Helge, I hope they have a fantastic season. My biggest concern is not only ability, it's mentality. And with winning, it's contagious, and so is losing. Losing is contagious. Unfortunately, there's many players in our squad that have an experience of losing a lot, and they've got that in the back of their mind. And I have always believed that Arsenal's problem has not only been about the striker. I would say openly, it's about the mentality, getting over the line. They've never done it, and I think that is the biggest thing and the hardest thing to do. You need a bit of luck to get over the line. Man City proved that. When they won the 2012 Premier League title, when Aguero scored that goal, which was fraudulent in my opinion, and QPR let them score. But you need that bit of luck to open a door for success in regards to your mentality, proving to yourself, not only to your fans, but proving to yourself that you can do it. There's many players there, including Bruno, who I just don't believe in. I don't believe in them. I don't believe you. I don't believe you anymore. Luke Shaw, I don't believe you. Not all these players that have been there for a few years, I don't believe you. And that is how I would say it. So why not next season? All of them. Prove me bloody wrong. Prove me wrong, because I'm here to be proven wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Go out there and surprise everyone. Go out there and challenge for a league title like Man United should be. You know what I mean? Big up Fanatic 8. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Mark, my wife asked if I had kebab for dinner. I said, no, I have not. It was a Donnarumma. Big up. Nice one, Mark. You've improved my joke. Sesko is going to be a massive hit with Cunha and Mbeumo supply thousands of assists. Big up, Kit. I hope so, mate. I really do. I'm looking forward to it if it happens. Of course. Roy, you're on one today, mate. Fred is the most diabolical player I've ever seen. Like, why does he still play professional for a club? I don't know, mate. I haven't heard from him in a while. Should have, would have, could have FC. Absolutely. Roy, Kenny's that's Arsenal. Yeah, that's true. That's Arsenal. Netflix FC. Next season FC. No, we're doing it next season. Let me tell you something about Arsenal, right? They've got no excuses next season, Arsenal. Arsenal, you've got no excuses next season. I'm telling you right now. You've got nada. No excuses next season. Absolutely not. Good morning, Miles. Sal, you're well. Good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Good to see Miles, of course. That striker we used to have 4 apiece, brother. Yeah, we did. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Andy Cole, Dwight York, and Teddy Sheringham. Obviously, Man United played 2 up front back then, but yeah, there's no substitute for strikers. You can never have enough strikers, in my opinion. And we always had a different blend of strikers as well. We always had a different blend of strikers, different type of striker. Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham type, different. Asif, Sal, Mainu and Ugarte are the starting in deep midfield, and Bruno will be up there for sure. I guess solidified his pace after scoring that beauty against West Ham. What, you're going to leave out Mbeumo or Cunha for Bruno? I don't think that's going to happen. We spent a lot of time getting Cunha and Mbeumo through the door. I think it'd be Cunha and Mbeumo, and the number 8 will be West Ham. Not West Ham. The number 8 will be Bruno. That will be it. Absolutely not. I can guarantee that he will be playing the number 8 next year. Just because he scored a long-range goal, which the goalkeeper made a mistake, I don't think so. His all-round play is, for me, we're too loyal to him. He's a captain of the ship that came 15th last season, the worst captain in Man United's history. And I don't think we should be saying that he's going to smash it, he's going to kill it. Let me see it. Let me see it. I don't care about stat padding penalties and things like that. He's a number 8 next season. I don't want to see him, taking the place of Mbeumo or Cunha. Absolutely not. They're better players. 109, 39 nights. Big up yourself. Hope you're well. At Helge, they didn't come to sit on the bench. Absolutely. I think playing Cunha and Mbeumo number 10s and Mainu and Ugarte number 8s and Bruno on the bench is better. Thank you, Held. Thank you. Big comment there from Held. Kit, Sesko up front and Mbeumo, Cunha behind him. Leon, Bruno, Ugarte, Ahmad behind him in the mid, and wingback Yoro Delikma. So in defence, so the remain goal title contenders. Look, Kit, you know what I would say, mate? We're not that far away. If we get the transfers that we need, we're not that far away, of course. Absolutely not. Rory, I'm going to do an analysis which players United needs out. That's man's watching City 6-3 United, not for banter, by the way, just for analysis. Big up, Roy, my friend. Of course, no matter what we do with Bruno or anyone, we have bought some of the best players in the entire league last. Absolutely, benching someone. Them would be laughable. It would be absolutely stupid. It would be, mate. Bruno and Mbumo and Cunha are absolute animals. I urge people to go and watch Man United versus Brentford last season and go and watch Mbumo. Tell you what, my goodness me, what a player. Absolutely, what a player. Absolutely brilliant player. Big up, Ellen. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Bruno on the bench. He is still only one scoring goals for us. Penalties, yeah. At the end, but we got Mbumo and Cunha now. That's the difference. That Mbumo scored 20 last season. Cunha scored 15. Absolutely. Don't worry, lads. United are lean and mean. Champions League. Big up, Dan and Dusty. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, we're fit now. We're fit. No chance. So Bruno will be playing number 10, Asif, but we'll wait and see. Exactly where we know that Bruno is a number 8 plus. We know Bruno's not a number 8 plus. That position need definitely steady guy. Absolutely. Veron is a very good side. I was gassed when we signed him, but I said at the time we already have class in midfield on the pitch. I said it as well, Helge, at the time. That's no detriment to Veron. Veron was a world-class player. He was a world-class player. And it was, you know what, if Scholes and Keane weren't playing at that time, he would have been a mainstay in our team. But you look at some of the passes, some of the goals he scored. He was, I mean, any other, like, he would walk into any Man United team in the last 15 years and be our best player. That is Juan Sebastian Veron held. You know what I mean? It was just at that time, so many players, so many were caught in a tough place in regards to trying to get the Roy Keanes and Paul Scholes out of the team. And not only that, Ryan Giggs and players like that, of course, which will never happen. Guys, I want to thank you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Absolute legends. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, please don't forget to smash a like on the video. Big up everyone in the stream, guys. Those who've joined me today. Big up everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Don't forget to join me for Breaking Dawn Chatterbox later on today, of course. Guys, don't forget to join me for that. And don't forget to put your notifications on in case I go live. If miraculously Suffolk breaks, of course, guys. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. You absolute legends. And sorry, everyone. Big up Slices of Sib. Big up Jaffa Ali. Big up everyone. I couldn't. SLD, good morning. Sal, ghostwriter for Skepta in the Jaina beef. Ghostwriter for Skepta in the Jaina beef. No, mate. I actually got lyrics. Skepta ain't got no lyrics, mate. He's a fraud, and he should go with P Diddy because he's worked with him, hasn't he? At the end of the day, absolutely not. Guys, big up everyone, and thank you everyone for showing your great support. And Timo, I want to say thank you to everyone who supports the channel. Every little bit helps this channel, and big up Timo. So good you turn the screen off. But thank you so much. Phil Jones, testimony, David J got nothing is crazy. And I really hope, Timo, that the match between Fiorentina and Man United, we give David De Gea a magnificent reception. I really hope that. I really hope we give him a great reception. I really do. But Timo, God bless you, man. Thank you so much for the channel. Every bit helps, guys. You can become a member as well, guys. And don't forget, you know what? Supporting the channel means everything to me. Even if you share it to your friends and folk, it would be absolutely fantastic, you guys. You are absolute legends. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. And I will see you later on for Chatterbox. Take it easy. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and see you for Chatterbox.